How are we doing this morning? Caught me in the middle of still trying to set this thing up. All right. I will be right back. I do believe. All right. I will be right back. All right, here we go. Good morning, all. Good morning, BB. How's Barbara doing this morning? I am trying to get set up and awake, and I've been fooling around with this chat thing for I don't know how long. I think I finally got what I want for my chat font and everything. What do you think about the new chat font on the left now? Looking a little bit better? Well, we're starting to get a few people in here. Come on in, people. Bring you a cup of coffee and pastries, donuts. We can always go on that diet tomorrow. Good morning, Christy. How is Christy doing this morning? How is your back, dear? Is it any better? Foggy outside and your brain. Yeah, I've had mornings like that myself. How about you, Christy? Pastries, donuts, how about a birthday cake? We don't want to talk about birthdays. Whose birthday is it? Is it your birthday? Yeah, I thought you was going to be turning 50, wasn't you? I think it was, if I remember right. I'm going to get killed for that one. But seriously, Christy, how is the chat on the left now to you and whatever you're looking at it at? I did a little bit of a transparent black and changed the font up a little bit. I kind of like it. I think it pops out at you. I think I'm done fooling with it, but hey, who knows with me? Well, thank you, babe. It's very nice. Someday I'm going to learn how to click up and figure out where all the emojis are, and by the time I find an emoji that I want to use, the moment has passed, and there's no sense in putting it up there. So I'll figure that out. I'm not very computer tech savvy, so we'll get it there one way or another. Yeah, it was a little ugly looking, wasn't it? I've been through 3 backgrounds since then. I didn't put them on the live chat, but I went to a gray, I went to a blue, I went to a yellow. I think just the transparent black looks all right. I might want to make it a little less transparent. What do you think? It is nice and bright out, although we are foggy. The fog is supposed to... you're saying put less just put a little bit more black in, is what you're saying, Christy? Yeah, I think it's going to look better on the playback too. Yeah. Okay. Well, later on when we get home from work, I'll fool around with the font and let you take a look at it. It's a lot easier with two sets of eyes looking at it as I'm changing it. You know, it's a pain in the butt to go the other way. Good morning, Marie. How's Marie this morning? But I'm glad the chat is close anyways now, so we can work with it from there. Now I just got to work on a few other things. The coffee does taste good this morning. Made it a little bit strong, but some days I like a good strong cup of coffee. Well, that's great. I say it's your birthday, you're going to have a good time. Oh. I like to, I don't know. Birthdays to me are, you just kind of let them kind of slide on by. Jet fuel. Yeah, I don't know if this is a little thicker than jet fuel. It's probably as strong as jet fuel, but I don't know if I could run this stuff through a jet. It's pretty thick. Let's put it this way. I don't put sugar and milk in my coffee, but if I had to put a spoon in it, I probably could stand the spoon straight up and down and not leave it in there very long because, well, I'd like to have a spoon when we get done. Ah, well, if I happen to miss it, I'm going to give you a happy birthday ahead of time. My daughter-in-law's birthday is 3 days after mine. Hers is the 24th. I don't have a calendar in front of me. Well, I can't see that from here. I think that's the 24th, if I remember right. Let me get this speaker muted here. There we go. Well, good morning to all that I've missed in chat. '29th. Wow. I've always loved to have a birthday on the 29th of February because, you, you don't grow as old as fast. So, well, you don't have to celebrate as many. I kind of like that. You moving a little slow this morning, Christy? You didn't tell me how your back was feeling. At least I didn't see it in chat. I don't know. Sometime I look closer. No, I don't see it. Yeah, she was a leap year baby. Yeah. You don't grow quite as old as fast. Only celebrate every few years, and well, to me that's a good thing. Get up and get in the recliner, or did you stay on the bed? Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing a little bit later as it gets a little bit warmer. I finally got a trench down the middle of the driveway and then going off to the side of the garage, so at least it's draining away from the garage now. It's not going into the garage. I was getting to the point where I had so much water going into the garage that I had one of the state of Maine trout stocking trucks there, those big old tanker trucks there. They stopped at the end of the driveway here and wanted to know if I wanted to stock some trout in the garage. And, well, I don't need to do any fly fishing in there, I guess. But it's better now. Squeegeed most of the water out, and it's draining off the side now. Good morning, Biddy Boo. How you doing this beautiful morning? Ah, it was a bad rumbler. I got to get some of this coffee in me here. Yeah, it's not bad especially if you can get the when the weather starts getting the point where it's above freezing at night and in the day. Once you get chiseled and out and you get your passageways done, they'll drain pretty good. My problem is I get it all starting to drain by the time it got warm enough in the afternoon to drain. Come evening, it would freeze all back up. Everything you chiseled out in ways of paths and little valleys and stuff filled back up and froze over. Good morning, Angie. How are you doing this morning? Do you bring some donuts with you? Well, that's good to hear. Oh. How's everybody's morning going so far? Made it through breakfast? Hey there, cool dad. How you doing? Stop spreading that around, Christy. I'm not 39. I'm 38. Well, close to it. 38-ish. How's that? And how was that egg? Was it scrambled, over easy, coddled, poached? Over hard? My granddaughter loves her eggs. You cook it sunny side up for a while, and just before you turn it, you break the yolk and flip her over. We call it over hard. Why, thank you, Marie. I'm ignoring that, Christy. It was over bacon. That's a good way to have an egg. You know, anything is better with bacon. Thank you, Biddy. You speaking of bacon and sweets and whatnot, I was in a bakery one time and I saw these beautiful big donuts, and they had a maple glaze over the top of them, and they actually had candied bacon bits over the top of that, all stuck on there. Some nice glazed bacon, you know, crumbled up over and stuck to the maple frosting before it set up. And wow, did that look good. I love bacon anyways, and I think bacon and sugar and salt all go together well, so I imagine that donut tasted pretty good. There you go, Cool Dad. Bacon wrapped bacon, yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm going to make some of those one of these days. I used to make donuts years ago a lot, and the only trouble with donuts is it's a pain in the butt. You got to get the grease out and a fryer and all that. And I'm not one for raised donuts. I'm not a big raised donut eater. I like a good cake donut, you know, and but the grandkids and son and daughter-in-law, they all like it. Even Christy, everybody likes the raised donuts, like the Krispy Kreme raised. I'm not, you know, I want some substance in my donut. Yeah, I know how that goes, Marie. Yeah, I bet it is. I've never had it, but I bet it is. Like I said, I think there's the relationship of the fat and the bacon and the saltiness, and put some sweet along with it and all that. It works together. It just works. Food wise and taste wise, your taste buds, it works. Yeah, I don't like a lot of glaze on any of my donuts either. In fact, my favorite donut just to sit there and enjoy with a cup of coffee is just a plain donut, a plain cake donut. You know, I do like, we have a blueberry donut up here. It's called a blueberry sour cream donut, and it's usually cut French style where they have little grooves in it. So when it hits the grease, all the high points and the little nooks and crannies, they crisp up pretty good. But you get that nice soft tenderness in the inside of the donut, and the sour cream, a little bit of a tang from the sour cream as it cuts the sweetness. But I love those. Those blueberry donuts are excellent. They're hard to find, but they're great. Yeah. Yeah, Christy is down in Texas, and she's in Kolache territory. And I was taken to school about what a kolache is, and I'm gonna make some of the one of these days. They're similar to a lot of other types of style of desserts, and well, I guess you can do it savory or sweet and whatnot. And but they look and sound interesting. I'll let you explain it, Christy, better than I can. I knew that was coming. She'll probably type it in there. It's basically kind of like a raised dough that is filled with cream cheese and some kind of fruit usually, and folded over, and it's either baked or fried. They're like little pockets, kind of like, and it's made out of a raised a yeast dough and whatnot. You can make them sweet or savory, either way. But then they're usually called rolls. Like if you make it savory with the sausage and the cheese or something like that, then they're usually a sausage roll or something, but on the same idea. Christy, you can slap in a URL to a picture of a kolache or something like that. You get the old blue wrench there. Use it. Just don't use it on me. She has a tendency to swing that wrench around, and that wrench in my head is like a magnet. Well, I don't mean fold it over. It's just kind of indentated, and the filling is put into it. I don't mean fold it over like in a turnover. I might have to get up and pull that shade just a little bit. I'm looking a little on the white side there. Well, like I get out, do an awful lot of sunbathing anyway, so let's see if I can get this. Look over that just a little bit. Yeah, that's a little better. Good morning, Dave. How you doing? Yeah, I'm going to get up and move this shade just a little bit. It's a little on the bright side. I will be right back. Don't go nowhere. Talk amongst yourselves and spread a few donuts and coffee around and fill everybody's cup up, and keep everybody busy, Christy. I'll be right back. There we go. Get the mic back on. I know one thing, I'm getting a little tired of that going in and out of focus. Yeah, let me fix this focus thing here. You guys keep talking. I got a little bit of problem here. Nothing big. We will go from there and get it done, though. Controller. And out of there. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And let's put that back up there. Let's get the chat back up there. There. Let's set. The one thing I don't like about some of these cams and stuff, when you put it on autofocus, anytime a little movement comes around, especially if you're close, it'll refocus and go in and out blurry. You're a lot better off, and like I say, I'm no expert on this, but to me, if you're going to be in one area and you're not going to move an awful lot as far as depth goes, and just stay in one area, you're better off to go into the excuse me, into the configurations and just unclick autofocus while you're doing whatever. If you're doing a particular video or live chat or whatever, just go in and do the autofocus. Make sure that you're focused good, and then just click it, just like I did just then. And it takes all that fading in and out away. Now it shouldn't happen anymore. All right, get this all set back up. There. All right, what did I miss while I was fooling around with technical stuff here? Yeah, I hear you, Dave. What you want to do, if you're going to be in an area, like I just said just a second ago, if you're going to be basically not moving too far, I mean within reason, in too far, sitting down or in one particular 2 or 3 minute part of a video or whatever, go into your settings and take your automatic, what do you call it? Not editing, but focusing off. Take that setting off. All right, Marie, you have a good day now. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, you know, your support is much appreciated here, and we're still striving for some time and whatnot, some watch time. But thank you for stopping by. But try that sometime, Dave. Fool around with it and uncheck that autofocus if you're going to be in one area for a bit. Just don't forget to remember to turn it back on if you're going to do any distances or anything like that. You'll be all out of focus and whatnot. Have a good one, Cool Dad. I probably missed you on the way out. I was running my yapper. But have a good day. Yeah, some of those cameras too, Dave, have a little window on the front where you can check and bring that to your menu, so it's a lot easier to have the focus right at your fingertips right there instead of having to look it up on a menu. On my particular one, this is coming through a camcorder, not a camcorder, a webcam. So I have to bring up the webcam and then go into the webcam, and no, it's just a little bit of a pain to do and whatnot. But I've got some equipment to run my camcorder through to do this and stuff, and the camcorder comes out a lot better, and you can do a lot more things and stuff. But I'm not exactly sure. I've got a big box of all kinds of hardware that was given to me, and it's just got a bunch of stuff in it, and I'm not exactly sure how to use all of it, and I got to do research as I go, because like I say, I'm not a tech geek by any means. Kind of learn on my own and look things up and go from there. Did you notice your channel this morning, Dave? I'm not sure. I don't know if you had the watch time and everything or not. Yeah, but if you're anything like me, you went in to look at your videos and stuff, your listing and stuff, and all you saw was that big old that world setting there, and everything was demonetized. That was a sad sight right there. But well, we can work toward it. It won't take long to get some content out there. I've got to actually start getting some content out. I still plan on doing the live streams, but I've got to get some content out there and get some various different videos out there. I've got to do the one from Jamie and Jeremy on Gilbert Farms and get that particular one out when they was doing the I can't remember the tag video, the name of the tag, but it was a tag video. I've got part of it done, but I've got to get the rest of it done, and we'll get that out, and we'll get back into doing some short little videos and how-tos and cooking and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it took me a while. Like I say, I went over the supporter account. Yeah, why you YouTube? Thank you, Christy. Thank you, babe. I'm glad you threw that in there. I couldn't get by without that woman right there. But forget what I was saying. Wrap me upside the head. Tell me what I was getting ready to say, Christy. Oh, yeah. Gilbert Farms tag video of why YouTube and whatnot. I've got to get the rest of that tag done and get it out there. They were very gracious to tag me in it, and I got a lot of help from some of their subscribers and stuff. And boy, I'll tell you, it really helped a lot. Oh, I'm sure they'll remonetize everybody just as soon as you meet those thresholds. I'm pretty sure of that. But I think the secret to it is just content, good, clean content that's worth watching. And I think it'll rise as your subs come along and your various supporters and whatnot. But I think if we concentrate more on the content itself and getting quality content out there, you won't have to worry about the views and the supporters coming in, for the simple reason is the good quality content will draw them in, and they'll watch it. The only thing that I'm worried about, and I've heard through the grapevine, I don't know exactly if this is true or not, a lot of the search engine stuff gets turned off once they took the program away from you. So I'm hoping that that's not going to affect too much lookup and stuff, because then that will slow down the growth of the channel a little bit. Yeah, I know what you mean. I've been in that boat too when I've lost my editor and whatnot. Thank you, Biddy Boo, for coming in and supporting, and thank you for the happy birthday. You have yourself a good day now. Now, does your traffic from Facebook and Pinterest come over into YouTube and watch your YouTube a lot? Because that's some of my problems when it comes to the media type things. I've got a regular Facebook channel and a Yankee Livn Facebook channel and some other things with Pinterest and various different things, but I haven't done an awful lot of the work that you got to put into those types of things for the media and stuff, and I've got to really work on that. It's difficult on the on the Instagram side. I get a lot of requests for Instagram and this and that, but Instagram really makes it tough on the people with just PCs and they don't have an apparatus to download a picture. You can go in and view, and you can go in and make comments and stuff in Instagram, but if you haven't got an apparatus to download, or I shouldn't say download, upload, you know, it's not very easy to use that. And I used to use a program that was out that kind of helped out with that, but it's just the program is so squirrely that it's all up and down, so I stopped using it. Hold on just for a second, please. All right, I'm back. Granddaughter needing a little bit of help finding keys. I've got that all taken care of. But anyways, let's see. What have I missed? I was in the middle of talking about other media things like in Facebook and all the various different things. And it does help your channel a lot. And I do understand the concept behind it. But mastering those things is another, and getting a following in them is another thing. So I'm going to try to work on that a little bit more. Christy helps me out an awful lot with it. She's very, should I say, Facebook savvy. So I'll be working on that. And sooner or later I'll have some type of camera to like an i5. What did you say that was, Christy? An i5 or i6 or something like that? I don't know. Just a camera that you can take pictures with and post at the same time and whatnot, and download and all that kind of stuff. And that'll help me out a lot. So hopefully we can get growing like that too. I just really want to put some good quality content out for people, and rather it be either in pictures or videos or how-to or just something silly. iPhone 5, yes, that's what it was. Yeah. And see how savvy and tech I am. Can't even remember if it's the iPhone 5.6. But anyways, if I can master some of that, especially the Facebook and the Instagram and Facebook, those two things together, and get into a little bit of the what is it, Pinterest, I guess it is, and whatnot. I'm using it for an Instapot recipe, etc. Loads of ads. What's that on, Barbara? Probably if I go back and I read. Okay, yep. You only YouTube on your phone, huh? That's funny because, see, I would have a hard time just doing that type of thing on the phone. I don't know. I just have a hard time of having like a small thing and it's just, I don't know, that would drive me up a wall after a while, I think. You just bought an Instapot. That's the next thing going around. I mean, everybody had the air fryers, and they were doing videos with that, and you know, it seems like a gadget comes around, and now everybody has the Instapot. I don't really know that much about them. I watched some of the videos and some of the food and stuff that, you know, looks pretty good, but to me, it's almost kind of like a glorified combination of if you took a pressure cooker / crock pot and then some of the timing devices and some of the settings and kind of mashed them all together, and you come up with an Instapot. I mean, I may be wrong, but that's what it kind of looks like to me anyways. Is it as pricey as the better? I haven't even looked up the prices and stuff, but is it as pricey as? See, the air fryers I was looking at. To me, some of the air fryers, they're pretty limited to basically frying French fries and various different things with the basket system and like that. And I was looking at some of the various other ones that are a little bit more expensive, and then I can see why they're a little more expensive. Like I think it's the Lagani or Lagani or something like that. Christy knows the one I'm talking about. I think Booger over on her channel, is it Booger US or something like that? I'm not exactly sure. You know who I'm talking about. You just say cooking and booger and you know the channel. She has the one I'm talking about and whatnot. And that one you can cook a lot of things in. You can cook everything from steaks and pastas and all kinds of things and still air fry too. And it's quite the system, but like I say, it's a lot more money. I've seen a lot of these air fryers, you know, $59, $69, $70 for a basic air fryer, and then all of a sudden you go to that Delaney or whatever it is, the one that she's got, and I think that one is 150-ish range, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure, but I can see why now, you know, and without that kind of information about the reason why things are much more expensive, you know, it's kind of hard to make a decision what to buy, and that's what I'm looking at these Instapots. Now, is Instapot a brand name or is it a generalization of that particular type of cookware and whatnot? Is what I'm saying, or do they have different brand names? Let's see. I'll go back and see if I can read some of the answers here. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Angie. I'm in that same boat. It's on my list of things to maybe get a little bit later on, but, you know. Okay. Now, Dave. Now you said you got yours for $79 from Kohl's. Uh, that's got to be one of Christy's favorite stores. Excuse me. Now, like I said before, is Instapot a brand name, or is it just a type of, like, you've got a crock pot and you have 100 different companies making it? Okay, Instapot is the brand name. So it isn't. There probably isn't very many knockoffs of other brands out there of that type of apparatus. Then get a little bit. Wow. So it's a combination of a pressure cooker and regular cooker together. I take it. It sounds like it has to work under pressure if it's cooking that fast. All right, Alan, you have a good day. I think I missed you coming in there. I'm very sorry on that. Thanks for the support, buddy. Don't be afraid to jump right in there if you think I've missed a hi or a goodbye or something. Just hey, slap me upside the head. We'll give you a cast iron frying pan to throw at us. You have a good day now, Alan. I'm sure Christy will be throwing out cast iron frying pans out to everybody to wake me up. Not that I would fall asleep in the middle of doing anything or watching TV or anything like that. Oh. Well, the old Yardbirds are going to love it today. That area that you see in my videos that goes from the garage all the way out to the barn area there, that really wide area that I snow blow out, that's all the way down the grass right now. The grass isn't green, but it's all the way down the grass. And over the winter, putting out a little bit of feed here and there that's melted down through all the different layers of snow and ice and all that kind of stuff. You know, that's all dropped down through some of that dead grass in there. And I'll let them out after they've gone through the laying process here and there. I try not to let the chickens out until afternoon for the simple reason is you're a lot better off to do that to get your eggs than to have any eggs laid anywhere else. Although they don't lay eggs outside very often. But my main thing with letting chickens out too early is, especially if it's wet, if it's wet, they go out and get muddy feet and, get all muddied up. And then they come, crawling into a nest and then they walking all over eggs. And, a good way to keep your eggs good and clean is keep wherever the coop door is that they come in from that area to the nest box. That should have some nice dry bedding in it all the time. So they're going in through that. It's almost kind of like wiping their feet type thing. Make yogurt to chili. I want to make some yogurt. My granddaughters love those those frozen yogurts, the Go-Gurts, I guess it is. And I see Go-Gurt Company. I don't know if it's, I can't remember the brand name that makes that. But I see they finally took the what was the sugar they took out of their? I can't remember the name of it, but they finally took it out. It's the sugar that's not good for you. And it's the stuff that they pump into kids all over the place. And other countries are banning, but our country isn't. Anyways, they finally took it out, so that type of yogurt is still, not as bad, but it still doesn't have all the properties of the better yogurt with the various different things in it to help the gut out and whatnot. So we plan on making a little bit of yogurt and making up some of those pops that they like. I like it myself too. I love frozen yogurt. I'd eat frozen yogurt more than I would eat ice cream, actually. No, we get plenty of snow and ice still here, Dave. If you're lacking in it, well, I can arrange, maybe get a couple dump trucks or something and fill her up and bring her on down. Let's look back through here, see if I've missed anything here. That's all right. Hey, when the black flies start coming around, Dave, I'll get the vacuum out. We'll vacuum some of those up, and we'll send those down on to you. Yeah, it's that's another thing that the active cultures. That's a great thing when you're making your own yogurt. It's on the same idea as the sourdoughs and all that. You save a little bit back to add to the next batch, and you just keep on a going. I made it years ago when I lived out in California. We did a lot of yogurt making, a lot of granola-y type stuff. Back when I was growing up, that was all kind of like the hippie era, and you had a lot of that type of foods going around. Yeah, kefirs is another one. Save a batch a little bit. When you're making apple cider vinegar, the same thing. Save some back. Some people don't save some back. You save some of your older apple cider vinegar, especially the bottom of where the mother is, and shake it up. Add a little back into your next batch, and it will ferment a lot faster. Turn the vinegar a lot faster. I've never tried kefir and stuff. I've fermented a few different things. This past year here, we did some fermented pickles and a few other vegetables and stuff, and I kind of enjoyed it. There's an act to that, trying to get it to the point where you like it, because you can have it fermented a little bit or a lot, or there's different strengths of that, and I think it all comes down to taste. Yeah, and used apple scraps. Yeah. Yeah, it's not hard. It's not a hard thing. It's just something you got to check, each day, depending on how you make it. If you're making it in a jug or using airlocks or whatever you're using and stuff, it's not hard to make. Fermented super water. I've heard that. I saw a video last year on that. I can't remember. It was they were making the tea at the same time, and they also was making the coffee, and they were making another flavor too. I can't remember what it was, but it was on the same idea with the heavier caffeine in it, and they didn't call it super water, but it was something like that, and I can see why. How's the stream coming across today? Any buffering today or anything? Got the numbers set up pretty good today? I know there's always going to be a delay a little bit from me to you guys, and especially it's got a lot to do with how each individual's internet is as far as that goes and stuff. But the one thing about this stuff is trying to get some kind of lighting together. Well, thank you. I'm glad, like I said, the one thing about, well, actually, the YouTube in general itself, if you've got your followers out there and your supporters that are watching your stuff, if they're not enjoying what they're watching, you know, and I knew that, I would have a hard time putting content out, because if I put content out that I want to make sure that it's half decent enough so it's going to watch. I've put videos out before that I've put out on YouTube, and then I've looked at them, and then I can't take that, so I just take it right down. I know a lot of people just put everything up, but I don't know. I'm a stickler. I guess I just too much of a stickler about getting stuff like that out. I'm too picky, let's put it that way. I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist, but I would just call myself picky. Christy would probably not agree with me about that, but I haven't heard from Christy in a while here, so I take it she's probably getting ready to get in her vehicle and on her way to work. It is almost 9. It's about what time she usually heads out. Well, I try to anyway. Sometimes it's hard, but, you know, and then it comes down to equipment. If you haven't got the fancy equipment and lighting and all that kind of stuff, then you got to kind of do with what you've got and try to get it still to come out right and whatnot. A lot of people can do a lot of the videos on the fly and stuff. I can do that on some occasions and stuff, but I much rather get the footage that I want, take the footage a few times, and get it where I want it, than to throw something up and have to, you know, spend 3 days editing it to get it where I want. How you doing, Rush? Good morning. Welcome to the stream. We're just chit-chatting about this and that, and everything from yogurt and Instapots to cooking to candied bacon. We got a little of everything going on this morning. No theme particularly, but just having some good old chit-chat. How you doing this morning? I just took a look at your page there, your channel there, Rush. I see you. I just got reconnected successfully. Huh. I was in and out there for a minute. Am I back now? All right, now I got disconnected there for a minute or two there. I was surprised. Anyways, I was getting to you, Rush. I was looking at your page and I noticed your your supporters. You was just shy of the minimum supporters. I was really, you know, when you see channels like that, how are you on with your watch time? Are you close to your watch time? Good morning, Joan. How's things going for you today? We have an exercise video coming out today. I don't know what happened there. I got a pop-up that said I had lost the stream and it reconnected itself. I am better than I, well, deserve to be. Let's put it that way. How you doing, Ronnie, this morning? I hear you, June. It's going to be a tough road, but, everybody sticks to it. We will get there eventually. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to get on there to look at it. I haven't even been in my email this morning. My email is about 400 or 500 deep with videos and whatnot, and I try to get to all of them. It's very, very difficult to try to get to all of them and do some kind of content and whatnot, but I try not to go through and delete anybody's. I try to, if I don't get to this one this week, then I get it to the next week. So sometimes when I'm answering or commenting to a video, it might be a week or so back, but I try to get to them. What do you got coming up, Ronnie, for videos? Any good food coming up? I know you got a couple videos in my email that I haven't got to, but I will get to them. Ah, I like bush beans. Yeah. I'm a real big red kidney bean fan, and I wish Bush would put out some red kidney beans in a baked bean version like the B&M baked beans we have up around here, but I like their beans. They're pretty good beans. Yeah, I like their barbecued beans and their country beans. Country I forget exactly what it is. It's Country Original or something like that. Is pretty good. Country style. Yeah, exactly. Country style. You got it there, Dave. That's probably my favorite bush bean. I like taking those and frying up some a good hot dog or sausage or something in a fry pan. Dump those in the fry pan along with whatever meat you're frying up, and dump that over some nice country fried biscuits or something like that. It's pretty good. Yeah, I wasn't real impressed with the grilling beans. They're all right, but I wasn't real impressed with them. What are you watching me on right now, Ronnie? Are you on? Are you watching on the phone, or are you on a PC or laptop? Computer. Okay, you're on the same as me. I've been fooling around with a live stream, as you know, and trying to get some of this stuff up and running and have it come out half decent and whatnot. How are you seeing the chat when this gets all over with, and when I upload this, let it upload back on the live chat? Do me a favor and go back in. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but go back in and watch it after it's been gone by the live stream, and tell me what you think about the new way I've got the chat in the screen now with that font and the way it's set up and how it reads on a PC. I've got 2 or 3 different people looking at different things, PCs and phones and the various different devices and stuff, because I want to try to get something that kind of looks good, through them all. But just let me know at a later date what you think and see if that's coming across to you pretty good. Ah, those are all good beans. Jacob cattle, kidney, pintos, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you get a good, a lot of people that have problems with digesting beans and stuff like that, if you soak your beans for a good 24 hours, a lot of people don't soak them long enough. You soak them a minimum of 24 hours, then rinse them very, very well. And, sometimes even twice rinse them, and then do whatever you want to them after that. I mean, you can boil them and stew them. You can do whatever you want to cook them. But that first rinse of 24 hours or even a little bit more, and rinsing them 2 or 3 times, is a big difference in how they're going to digest with your system. Well, that's good, June. I like it. I think on the replay, if you happen to miss a live stream, and it's not so much on the Chit-Chat ones like this, but the ones that are going to be themed and you're talking about something specific, and you want to follow it, I think it's going to be a lot easier to follow the conversation, to have what I'm saying and what the people in chat are saying at the same time. Because what happens to me when you're watching a lot of live streams that you missed, and you go to back and rewatch them, and they don't have the chat in, it's a little harder to follow along, let's put it that way, if that makes any sense to you. I'm hoping you're enjoying it anyways. Yeah, Jacob's cattle, I think, is more of a New England type bean, and well, I should say northern bean, because I know they have them out around Michigan way and like that. It's a good quality bean. That'd be a good one for you to do a review on, Ronnie. Of course, you'd have to either you cook them up or your wife get them cooked up for you. But they're a good quality bean. I like them. They're a good size bean for one thing, and their texture is very buttery, very creamy. Well, thank you, Barbara. I'm trying to get it fixed. I'm trying to keep tweaking it until I'm happy with it. I figure if I get happy with it, you guys will be happy with it. Especially where it's going to, like I say, it's going to come into play a lot better when we get into some of the different themed live shows and stuff like that, because the conversation will come across a lot better. Yeah, you could probably get them online, Ronnie. They're good. They're a nice bean. I like them. I'm surprised if you can't. Usually dry beans you can get just about anywhere because they just ship so well. Yeah, I don't know about. There's a lot of wives' tales. That might be true. Some people put a little bit of baking soda in their beans when they're cooking them. A big thing around New England is there's 2 ways of cooking beans. You've got your baked beans variety, which are usually a sweeter type, and then you've got a stewed bean, which is usually cooked on top of the stove. And a lot of the recipes interchange with each other. It's just the way that they're cooked. I like a baked bean for the simple reason is after it's cooked, you take the cover off and you let it run for an hour or so, and you get that nice brown glaze over the top from the sugars caramelizing. And then every 10 or 15 minutes, you go in and you stir that into the beans, turning it over, and that's how it gets that nice brown, rich flavor. Is it keeps browning on the top, and you keep turning it in. And it makes the flavor totally different. That last hour of cooking, to me, is one of the most important parts of cooking baked beans. Yeah, I don't blame you a bit, June. I don't blame you a bit. You know, some of that stuff, follows up through, and a lot of that type of stuff gets lost, and it doesn't follow different generations around and stuff. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the glaze on top. Yeah, exactly. Lots of times I'll cook my baked beans in a crock pot as far as cooking them goes, and I'll use one of those removable crock pots that you can take the whole glass container out. After your beans are completely cooked and you've got them flavored the way that you want them, they're basically a stewed bean at that time. There's none of that brownness, that glazing into it. Take the cover off, have your oven all on 350 or so, and start baking it. The only thing is with that, you've got such a surface area on your crock pot, you've got to go in there every 5 or 10 minutes because that'll glaze over pretty good, and if you're not watching it, it'll burn. You just take a nice spoon and just kind of keep turning that in every 10 or 15 minutes, and it takes about an hour to completely do it, and you'll see the whole depth of flavor and the color of those beans change completely from like a lighter brown to a nice glazy dark brown. Yeah, yeah. Now, are you using like the stew beans? That's a southern tradition. A lot of people do that. Now, using any brown sugars or molasses in your beans, or are you keeping them pretty savory instead? And I got to have onions in my beans. I love onions. I do it a couple different ways. I will quarter an onion and put it in, and I'll also take an onion and chop it very fine, so it actually cooks into the beans themselves and almost disintegrates more or less for flavor. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because I like the chunky pieces of onion as far as eating goes, but I like if you dice it another one very, very fine, it'll cook and break down into your beans a lot faster, and you'll get that nice flavor in your juices. Yeah, yeah. Up around here I take red kidney beans that have been baked, and they have a tendency, if you get a lot of salt pork and sugars in them, they have a tendency to thicken up in the when you put them in the refrigerator. One of my favorite sandwiches, and you're either gonna love this or you're gonna hate it. There's nothing in between. You take a nice piece of rustic bread and you take some baked beans that are thickened up and you put it right over the top of it, okay? And put another piece of bread on top. And before you do that, like you're saying, when I was talking about the onions, dice up some onions pretty small but raw. That gets sprinkled over the top of them, and another piece of bread, and you've got the perfect baked bean sandwich. I think it's more of a New England thing than it is anything, but some people like mayo on it and like that. I'm not a big mayo eater as far as going on baked beans or everything, but that's a great sandwich. And I have a tendency if I'm gonna eat raw onions, I like the sweeter type onion. Any of the the large sweet onions, the Spanishes or any of them. There's tons of them out there. Any barbecuing coming up for you, Ronnie? I will, Ronnie. I'm going to be doing some more cooking stuff and like that. It's just like I was saying before. I don't know if you caught much of any of the other videos or anything. You know, there was a 6 or 7 month stretch there, actually almost 9 month stretch there, that I didn't do an awful lot of, didn't do any videos or any content. You know, and I don't want to make any excuses. It had a lot to do with various different health issues, and I had computer breaking down. I had one computer completely break down. One fry. I had a camera completely break down on me, and then I dropped the camera and broke it. I mean, anything I touched was breaking. So it was hard. It's hard to get content out if you don't have the equipment and you're not feeling well. If you're not feeling well each day, you know, it's hard to get up and do any type of video worth watching. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna get I'll get a lot more content out this year, and I look forward to doing it and sharing it with you guys. Yeah, I know. Barbecue means pork, not grilling out. Yeah. Up here, barbecuing is basically you get the grill out and you're grilling. And I know barbecue down south is more slow cooking and like that. I know the whole thing. There isn't an awful lot of people up here that do barbecue like a southern barbecue with the slow and, you know, the smoking and the low and slow and stuff. Most people up around here, when you're doing barbecue, they're thinking, like you say, a hot grill and whatnot. I know the difference very well, and I like a barbecue. I like a good barbecue, especially when you start getting into tougher meats, be it brisket or a Boston butt or a nice big old chuck roast or something like that. Cooked low and slow, it's total different flavor and whatnot. But you're right. There's a lot of people that don't understand that. Ah, cheddar cheese. Yeah, I've done that a couple times. Uh, I've gotten pretty creative sometimes when I've done that before, because you don't need hardly any heat at all. You just need basically the smoke. I actually had some cheese, some provolone that I had bought a good buy on, and I love smoked provolone. Because provolone doesn't have an awful lot of flavor. It's sort of like a mozzarella, anyways, but it is a little bit firmer than mozzarella as far as taking on some smoke. And I actually made one out of a cardboard box, believe it or not, a double thick cardboard box. All I did was have an intake and an export, and I was putting more smoke in than I was heat. It wasn't hardly hot at all, but that smoke gets absorbed into cheese pretty quick. And it worked out pretty good. And if you've never had provolone or any types of cheeses that you're going to smoke or anything like that, find somewhere at a deli somewhere, and you'll find smoked provolone. It usually will come in a yellow pack of wax, and it'll be yellow on the outside. And once you've had provolone on a brisket sandwich or a ham sandwich or something like that has been cold smoked in provolone, I'll tell you, you'll never eat provolone again without being smoked. The trick to, like I say, smoking cheeses is having a hard cheese. The trouble is with hard cheeses, they're very fatty content, so you got to keep that cold down there. You got to keep that temperature way, way down. That's your favorite cheese. What, provolone or cheddar? I'm trying to follow. Provolone, yeah. Yeah, it's one of my favorite cheeses. One of my favorite ways of making pizza, if you want to try and have and it's a trick to a lot of these pizzerias do, you know how sometimes you go out to a pizzeria somewhere and have a pizza and you say, God, I just can't make that pizza. I can't get that flavor at home. There's a good type of cheese, that you can put in there as far as what kind of cheese. Of course, you're going to have provolone, okay? But then, mozzarella. Then you're going to put a little bit of provolone and then just a little bit of grated Swiss cheese. They're all three great melting cheeses, but just that little touch of Swiss cheese in with your regular pizza cheese makes all the difference in the world, because most of your melting cheeses don't have an awful lot of flavor, but that Swiss has got that little bit of a flavor to it. And it'll just kick your pizza up 2 or 3 notches. Say nothing about 1 notch. Asiago. Yeah, that's... I haven't eaten an awful lot of that. It's one of my favorite cheeses, yeah. Yeah, I love Swiss cheese is good. I've actually had pizza that's been just the opposite. Usually you'll have your main cheese will be mozzarella, and then you'll have a little bit of provolone, and then you'll have a little bit of Swiss. I've reversed it before. If you like a little bit stronger cheese on a pizza, and put more Swiss, and then and the last thing is be the mozzarella and stuff. And I much rather have it. Try it like this too, Ronnie. If you buy it deli type and you have it sliced, have them slice it just as thin as they can slice it, and put sliced cheese on your pizza instead of the grated. For some reason, it just comes out a little better for me like that, and it just tastes better to me. And you can layer it a lot better, especially if you're layering in between meats and veggies and stuff. Works pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot of Cuban type sandwiches out there. Yeah, a lot of Cubans use the Swiss cheese and stuff, and it's got a lot to do with your quality of Swiss too. You can get some expensive Swisses, and they do taste really well, but you can pay some bucks for it. Up around here, Swiss is pretty expensive as far as pound for pound. Yeah. I've heard that too when I was a kid. Yeah. What you want to do, Barbara, is when next time you're in a supermarket, go into the cheese section in there, and don't buy the cheese. Buy the baby Swiss from, I think Kraft puts it out, or Cabot. I think Cabot has it too. Buy the baby Swiss. You get that mild Swiss flavor, but there's no holes in it at all, so it won't bring you back to your childhood. It's just plain. It hasn't aged enough to get you the holes in it to begin with. It looks just like a white cheddar cheese, but you got a milder flavor of the Swiss coming through. It won't bring you back those years in the childhood thinking of rats chewing on your cheese. Yeah, me too, Ronnie. I like a good sharp cheese. One of my favorites is Cabot puts it out, is that seriously sharp cheddar cheese. I don't know if you ever had it, but if you like sharp cheddar cheese, try that, Ronnie. That is good. Cabot's seriously sharp cheese. Very, very good. I don't know if you shop at a place called Sam's, like an outlet type store, big, like a box type store in Sam's. I don't know what they call it. Sam something or other. You can get a really good deal on that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. There's different things in your head that brings back things and stuff like that, and it pushes you away from various different things. I understand exactly what you mean, Barbara. But if you find that cheese and it doesn't have that hole in it, but you get that flavor, they won't coincide with each other, and it's just not. It's called baby Swiss, and it's just not as pronounced Swiss flavor, but you still have a pretty good Swiss flavor out of it. Yeah. We shop at Sam's a lot. The thing I like about, they have it in there in a 2-pound block. That's about roughly about $7, I think it is, something like that, and that's not bad for that style of cheese. You're going to have to, I know this is probably going to be dumb, but you're going to have to tell me what PTSD from cheese. I'm trying to figure out what PTSD. I'm just guessing in my head, but I don't want to mention anything until you tell me what it is. My pastrami sandwich could be saved. Ah, there you go. Oh. Oh. Oh, how you doing there, Get to the Farm? Or should I call you CZ for top, or do you have a first name you'd rather be called by? How's your morning going? You haven't seen bad typing, CZ, until you've seen my typing. All right, Sue. That would be easier to remember. I've got my daughter-in-law's name is Sue. How you doing this beautiful morning? Well, it is in my neck of the woods, anyways. The fog finally burnt off. We're gonna hit close to 60 today. And I'm almost finished my first cup of coffee. Coming out of a cold spell as far as, okay, weather goes. Excuse me. Well, we're going into a little bit better weather than we've had. I'm up in Maine here, and usually even in February we get pretty bad weather. So I'm going to take this little shot of spring-like weather and suck it all in today, because I know at any time we could drop right back down into the single numbers and get another 2 or 3 foot of snow. From here till we could get dumped on any amount of snow from here until right into the beginning of April. I've seen some bad snowstorms at the end of March and April in Maine. They're usually wet, heavy stuff, and they're gone within a day or two. But it doesn't mean it doesn't mess up. One storm like that could take your power out and leave you powerless for a week or so. Well, that's some great weather down that way. We're not going to get that high up here. We're going to get, they're saying close to 60, maybe hit 60, but I think it's going to be around 58, 59, they're saying. Whereabouts are you located at, Sue? Gonna have to wreck the luge run. Yeah, I know what you mean like that. Montana. All right. Yep. Now, you out in the country in Montana? Well, odds are you are. It's a lot of big country out there. But take it easy, Barbara. You have a good day now. Careful out on that ice. Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Our frost doesn't come quite that early here, but it comes early enough. It's pretty bad when you can take, I'm asked a lot of times about growing seasons and stuff around here, and you can pretty much take 5 or 6 months out of the equation altogether. And so you take that 5 or 6 months out, then you're looking at the package of seeds or whatever seed that you're planting, and you start looking at what the growing time is on there. And if it overlaps into any part of that, you might as well, unless you've got a high tunnel or something like that, you might as well not even plant it. I bet it does. All right, guys. My stomach is rumbling here, and I think I need some breakfast. I've had my first cup of coffee. I don't eat until I eat late breakfast, early lunch type thing, and whatnot. But I want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting the channel. It means a lot to me just to get the extra watch time. I hope you guys, I know we haven't talked anything about anything particular as far as the theme goes or anything like that. But as the channel grows and as the live stream grows, I'd like to start getting into more of a theme style live stream, and also I like to get some times down. I know live streams are important to get times down because you just can't pop in every now and then. I mean, that's not bad to pop in every now and then to do a live stream, but if you get some kind of structure down as far as time frame goes, get some themes in there and whatnot of some of the various different things, topics, and in the comment section on this particular video, that when it comes out, if you have a particular subject that you'd like to talk about or something like that, and get me to have a theme show on it or something like that, hey, put it down in my comments and stuff, because like I say, I like to get some stuff together. I'm new at the live streaming here, and I'm trying to put together a half-decent channel and get the chat going in the overlook and all that kind of stuff. So if there's anything particular you guys want to talk about or something like that, hey, let me know and we'll try to get it done. So we're going to back it on out of here. Until next time, guys, wherever you are in your neck of the woods, be it morning, noon, or night, I hope you're all having a great one. Take care now. God bless.